How's it going, everyone? This is Stretch22, about to bring you another Marvel Champions heroic gameplay video. I have some added pressure this time, as I've got about 20 so new subscribers since the last video, so really appreciate all of you who have subscribed, and hope to keep bringing you some quality games. So for today, we're doing Storm with a leadership deck against the Mansion Attack scenario. And as usual, we're going to look a bit at the scenario first, because really the goal of my channel is to beat every scenario on heroic difficulty, not necessarily to build the most flexible decks. And this is an interesting one to talk about because of the variety in the villain order and the main schemes that you'll have throughout the game. So you kind of need to build your deck sort of flexibly, because you don't know exactly which of those you're going to get. We are in heroic difficulty, which means that we have to beat all 4 villains, so that gives us some predictability in that we'll see every single one. But whichever one comes out first is by far the most important one, as we won't be able to finish it that quickly as we're developing. Then once we're more developed in the game, we can go through the villains a lot faster. So easily the worst one, in my opinion, is Toad. Toad's forced response after he damages a character, which could include an ally that's blocking, we have to discard a random card from our hand. So this is the one that most directly attacks our resources, and there's no great way around that except for stunning, which we can do and will plan to do. Pyro is probably the next worst, because outside of stunning, again, we can't really effectively block his attack, because this response can damage us even past the attack itself, which can always be ally blocked. And then Blob and Avalanche, they're both okay. They can mostly just be blocked to not too much additional effect. Then as for the main schemes, I'd say there's a little more variance here, a little more range in the best to worst. The worst of them is the Atrium, which is giving these characters steady. So we're building into the deck a lot of ways to stun and confuse. So if they're steady, those cards get a lot worse. The Cafeteria is probably the next worst. Each character gains Retaliate. Because there's so much villain health to chew through over the game, that Retaliate does slow us down. Storm is fairly well equipped for this. Thunderstorm special does 2 damage without attacking. Blast of Wind does damage without attacking. We can sort of chip away throughout the game, and then once it's well under control, finish it out. But it's still not the one we'd love to see. These other 2, the Courtyard and the Basketball Court, these are definitely the best, and I would say actively good for us. These ones swing in our favor as opposed to in the villain's favor. Allies and minions gaining toughness. Of course, minions gain toughness, but the allies gain toughness as well for those blocks. And those blocks really, the tough statuses really take Toad down a notch if that's the villain that we get, because he won't be damaging any characters if they're blocking while tough. And then the Courtyard, every character plus attack, pretty much strictly benefits us, because we'll be attacking minions and the villain. Whenever the villain attacks, we'll probably do an ally block, so the actual attack of the villain, the attack stat doesn't matter that much. Same with minions, where we'll probably be killing minions every turn they come out, so they'll never be attacking us, hopefully. So because of Save the School, every time that we defeat one of these, we'll give ourselves an encounter card, so watch out for that. It's definitely a scenario I underrated the difficulty of at first, because of the extra encounter cards that come from main scheme 1, and then defeating each of these villains. Plus, these main schemes have a threshold of 7, which is really, really low. And I forget if I said already, but as soon as the villains finish 2 of them, we lose the game. So we pick from the random 4, but they only need to complete 2. So really we don't have that many turns we can sort of take off. We always have to be watching out for the main scheme, and we always have to be watching out for the minions, because we have a handful of cards that get worse if the minions are already in play. So I guess case in point for that is the Brotherhood Beatdown, where any of the Brotherhood minions being in play gives us some additional effect. So this is a pretty safe card to draw as long as there's only the villain in play. But if we let the minions get out of control, the Brotherhood Beatdown can be kind of rough. And we will see those minions a lot. For every one of those characters, there's 2 treacheries that spawn the minion if they're not already in play, in which case they just activate. Definitely better for us to draw the minion up rather than having the minion activate against us. In the Brotherhood mod set, we see those minions as well as the other cards that come with that. Under Siege is another one where for each Brotherhood of Minions character in play, when that comes out, it gets additional threat. So we want to clear these in a timely manner. Protect the Students kind of actively helps us. It can be a tutor effect for any ally, so that's not a bad one to see. I'm spicing it up a little bit. The mod set in parentheses of main scheme 1 is Mystique for this scenario, but at least as I'm recording this video, Iceman was released very recently, and Iceman came with this Sauron modular set, which is kind of fun that they gave Sauron the Brotherhood of Mutants trait, so it actually combos well with this scenario because of the Under Siege, and like the Brotherhood side scheme gives those Brotherhood minions quick strike. So I like this change a lot. Mystique's mod set, the treacheries that shuffle in and have surge, they're not the most fun to play with for me. So Sauron's probably a little bit easier, but I think a lot more fun for the game. And as I've been doing in my other videos, just doing standard 1 for now, with Shadow of the Past. And yeah, that is the scenario, so let's see how we built the deck. So here's our Storm Leadership deck. As a reminder, amongst my videos, I'm trying to beat every scenario in heroic difficulty, but I'm also trying to use a different hero in each one. So I'm looking for good opportunities to match up heroes against certain scenarios. And I think this one's really interesting because in the main schemes for Mansion Attack, we have these sort of universal effects. Every character gets +1 attack, or every character has Retaliate, and that parallels almost perfectly with Storm's Weather deck, which is also giving every character some universal effect. So sort of evening the field there a little bit. They're nice foils to each other. Also, as I mentioned, I think Mansion Attack is just it's just a pretty difficult, but sort of generically difficult, without too much of a gimmick. Like when we played Master Mold, I wanted to play Wolverine because he can stay in hero form all game. When we played Sentinel, I played Colossus because he's sort of uniquely able to survive given all his tough cards when we can't block for allies or stun the villain. This is more of just Storm is really strong. I want to make sure she's used at least once throughout this box, and so here's the best opportunity to match her up to a scenario. Now the deck itself we're playing on heroic. It's going to be a very hard game. It's not the flashiest or really themed deck. It's just kind of a lot of the best leadership cards. Going forward, I'm absolutely going to look for opportunities to spice things up more. We'll have probably get to a sidekick deck eventually. Certain scenarios always have a gimmick that can make us build a little differently. But this is kind of like bread and butter, optimized leadership shenanigans. 8 of the best allies in the game, Professor X and Mockingbird to do our stunning and confusing. Hawkeye's obviously just tons of value, but especially in this scenario where there's going to be minions coming out virtually every turn. Kalu and Mariah Hill, really good to come down, draw a card, activate, block right away. Marrow, same vein, tons and tons of value. Black Knight is the most flexible one. I like the piercing ability in case we get the main scheme that provides all minions tough. The villains as well all come tough, so a lot of opportunities to do some extra value with Black Knight there. 3 make the calls, just to 3 more copies of whichever ally is best in the current situation. 3 copies of rapid response. Really good with Mockingbird is the best, but Professor X can also be okay sometimes because of the strong responsibility when he comes back into play. Hawkeye can reset those counters. Just a really solid value card. If it gets back Mariah Hill or Kalu, it's you're not getting away with too much, but it's still worth its cost for those other allies. Resource doublers. I'm playing 2 Power of Leadership. I wanted to play some amount of extra resource value in my resource cards, and you could definitely argue for Power in All of Us or Power of Leadership. I have ever so slightly more leadership cards given my 3 rapid responses, so I went with the Power of Leadership. They're very high upside cards and low downside. If they give us an extra resource, great. If not, they're just a resource anyways, and tons of cards in the deck that we're happy to play. I don't anticipate having too many awkward resource heavy turns. Some accumulating value cards are upgrades and supports. Obviously Storm's Cape and Crown are just very, very good cards. X-Gene and Def Focus work really well for Storm. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She's got 9 eligible events for the X-Gene. They're all very strong, so we want to play them as much as we can. For Def Focus, there's 7, but again, they're all really strong. We'll probably be playing one almost every turn. Now, X-Bunker, because I'm playing 3 player side schemes, build support can get the X-Bunker out, so I'm not always going to be trying to play X-Bunker as soon as I get it. It is the best thing to get with build support, although we can get Aurora's Garden with it as well. Call for Backup, super versatile card, and then Superpower Training is great to get either Storm's Crown or Storm's Cape into play. Those are such powerful cards, it kind of acts as another copy of that. So there we go. It's a really flexible deck, especially Storm is just a very flexible hero with being able to flip to any of these on any given turn. Right, we can always pull some extra damage out, do some extra thwarting, just draw a card if there's not much pressure on us. Blizzard can be nice in this scenario. If it does come up where a minion could be attacking us, all those Brotherhood minions have some extra effect when they attack us or damage us, so we can blank those for a turn. Yeah, really strong deck. Pretty generic actually. There's not that much that's really tailored towards the mansion attack, except for maybe the Black Knight and the decision to stun and confuse as much as we can, because our villains are generally susceptible to that. So give it a try for yourselves if you want first. Try against some other scenarios, whatever you want. I can say it's a pretty good deck. And let's see how we do against Mansion Attack on Heroic difficulty. So as I shuffle up here, we'll be starting the game in Thunderstorm with the Thunderstorm Weather card at the top of the weather deck. This is the least likely one that we'll want to flip to during our first turn, since there won't be any minions in play, so the 2 damage can go to the villain, but not as good as our other options are. If we get a player side scheme out, we might want to go to Hurricane to thwart it for 2. Might just go to Clear Skies to draw a card, or I've also done Blizzard to give our villain -1 attack as we get attacked on this first turn. We will be playing on Heroic difficulty, which means we need to defeat all 4 of the villains. So we could be in for a bit of a long one. I'll try to do my best to keep things moving. Although Storm can have some pretty complicated turns with lots of options for what weather to switch to. So I'll do my best. If you skipped the scenario breakdown, we are using Sauron's modular set. He has the Brotherhood of Mutants trait, which makes it pretty flavorful. I like it for a couple mechanical reasons over Mystique, which is the one listed in parentheses here. So we'll randomize our villain order. And we start with Avalanche. So Avalanche is not one of the worst ones to start with. Main scheme 1B, we get dealt an encounter card, and then advance. So we'll set 2 of these aside because once we advance past 2 is when we lose. So we have the Cafeteria. Each character gains Retaliate 1. So this is the second worst one to get, but we will still fight to stay on it because it's not the worst one, which could be next, which is the one that gives everybody steady. So we might be kind of slow to advance through our villains while that is out, but we can still stun and confuse, which helps us stay alive as we develop, and then eventually we can move pretty quickly through everything. So, seeing an interesting combo here with Professor X plus either one of these player side schemes that we could complete right away. I think Superpower Training is better to get Storm's cape into play. So without drawing any cards, I can pay 3 for Professor X and pay 1 for the training. I could mulligan to try to get a double resource, but yeah, there's a few good things to draw, but I think I'm just going to keep everything because there's a lot of cards I really want to play first time through the deck, and this is a really good first turn to have. So I'm just going to keep everything and see how that works out. So there's maybe an option to not even go to hero. No, I will go to hero form. Never mind. Okay, so let's pay 3 for Professor X and confuse our villain. Pay 1 for Superpower Training. Put 3 on. I'll thwart it right away. So this will go to the victory display. And I can get any identity-specific upgrade. So that will be the cape. So here's where when I flip now, I could attack, but I will take the 1 retaliate damage back. So is it really the most worth it? I think it probably is. So flip. I'll definitely thwart once. And then use Storm to go to I guess Blizzard here. No, that doesn't let me actually trigger the cape. Well, this is the one case where I would actually like to flip 2 Thunderstorm, because I obviously don't want to go Clear Skies to unconfuse Avalanche. I guess I go to Hurricane. Let's backtrack a bit. So I think I'm actually going to go to Blizzard and just not use the special. I know it's kind of awkward, but if I were to use this to ready, there's not a great use of being ready besides that attack, which retaliates against me. So yeah, and yeah, I think we're just going to chill. No pun intended. All right, add one here. Professor X blocks the attack, which kills him. 2 more encounter cards. Surge, Surge. Eye of Sauron, discard 2 cards. So for a wild, exhaust a character we control, which we can't do, but then for 2 mentals, we have to discard a card from our hand. So I'll discard 2 Weather Goddesses. Okay, lucky one here. Avalanche is the only one in play, so we exhaust our identity, but that's already done. And gang up, we get attacked. So villain is at -1 attack because Blizzard is in play, so 3 plus a boost card for 5 damage. And then we will retaliate for 1 against Avalanche. So we got perfectly 3 here to play Hawkeye out, which I think is a fair play, better than Blast of Wind is right now. Flip to Thunderstorm to deal 2 damage. And then I could have Hawkeye thwart this main scheme for 1. Yeah, let's do that. Oh, and yeah, when I did the Thunderstorm damage, I meant to ready Storm here. And then I'm at a little bit low health, so we'll flip and recover. One on here, confused, 2 cards. Sauron makes us find Life Drain. Oh, there it was at the bottom. So he does activate against us. If that would have been an attack, we would have given Sauron a tough and taken 2 extra damage. Hawkeye's ability will do 2 damage to Sauron. And then our next card is an advance. So once I finish shuffling here, we'll see if we need to go on to the next scheme or not. And the boost value is 2, so we will advance to the next scheme. And it is the Courtyard. Each character gets +1 attack. All right, so that is the one we wanted to see. Well, either of the ones that is not the one that gives steady. All right, so this will be a good turn. We can develop a bit, except for the fact that we're, another scheme away from losing on any given turn. We are set up fairly well. So this might be a turn to flip to Clear Skies just to get an extra card draw, because we don't have anything to thwart for 2. So with playing Marrow and attacking, we can take out Sauron, pay 1 for Death Focus, pay 1 for the Garden. That does work out to be an efficient turn. Or I could draw a card with the Clear Skies and then play a 1 plus a 2. So Rapid Response plus one of these 1s. I think I like this. We'll recover. Skip playing the Garden. So flip up here. Yeah, flip up here. Switch to Clear Skies to draw a card and see what we get. Torrential Rain doesn't change anything. Ready, Storm. Pay 2 for Marrow. Dealing 2 to Sauron and then attacking Sauron. Does not retaliate when we defeat it fully. Then pay 1 for Deft Focus and pay 2 for Rapid Response. So I probably won't use the Rapid Response here when I block with Marrow. Because there's just some better allies to recur with that. And I will, so would be attacking for 3 because of the Courtyard, or I could just thwart this for 1. I think I'm just going to thwart this for 1. That's more important right now. And then save Hawkeye for minion or side scheme. Step 1, Marrow block. If the villain is Avalanche, give him additional boost. Discard 1 card, discard 1 random card from your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2. And then after Avalanche attacks me, we exhaust an ally. 2 encounter cards. Villain schemes for 1, 2, 3. Well, there's the other advance out of the deck. Avalanche is already out. We get Sauron Lives. So probably going to Hurricane here to thwart one of these a little bit. Who can we make the call for? Black Knight, Professor X. Professor X is probably going to be the choice here to confuse as we prepare to flip down to Alter Ego. So X-Gene would be nice to play, but that's just not going to work out with the resources. Storm thwarts this for 1. We change to Hurricane to thwart this for 2. Deal ourselves Sauron. And I'll just get that ready for when he comes out. Ready with the Cape. Thwart for 1 more. Make the call for Professor X. And confuse Avalanche. Thwart for 3. And flip to Alter Ego for the hand size and to not get attacked by Sauron. Okay. Okay, nice hand coming up here. 1 on, confused, 2 more encounter cards. So first we get Sauron, who thwarts, or schemes for 2. Trigger Hawkeye. Surge. Flip to Alter Ego, we're already there, so we'll have to exhaust to remove that from the game. And then a side scheme. So yeah, Professor X is discarded from play, not defeated, so I don't think we can rapid response that. We'll exhaust to remove Claustrophobia from the game. So a lot of stuff that I want to play here. Pay 2 for Maria Hill, draw a card plus a card to play the bunker, draw a card plus a card to play the crown. Lets us do all of that. Do we end up... We do end up defeating Protect the Students there, so I could get an extra card. So I could skip something there to possibly make the call and get Professor X back, which does actually sound pretty good. So who do I skip? I think the crown is going to be most important to play. Okay, yeah, tricky turn here. I'm thinking of skipping the bunker. Well, you know, it feels silly not to play Maria Hill here. Yeah, this is a lot of options. So I can use the focus to get Torrential Rain to defeat this. Play Maria Hill, draw a card. Use the card plus bunker to play the crown. Crown plus focus to pay for torrential rain. It leaves me with a card off this and one card in hand. So could I have snuck the bunker in there? 2 for Hill. Draw plus card for bunker. Draw plus card for crown. Okay. Let's start with Maria Hill. So it lets me use the power of very efficiently. And I want to be able to flip to Thunderstorm to deal 2 to Sauron, attack for 2. Is why I was thinking to do that. So here I could go 2 for crown, 1/2 for torrential rain. Leaving me 1 card left over, but that's not that bad. Or if I want now, getting Professor X out would be at the expense of another 2-cost card. So I'll at least maybe make the call in hand as the card I don't play, or keep Kalu. Switch to Thunderstorm. Deal 2 to Sauron. Ready. Oh, I did that, whoops, okay. Okay, I was exhausted and we were on Hurricane. I need to do torrential rain before I switch out of Hurricane. So we'll flip up. One, 2 for the crown. 1, 2 for torrential rain. Doing 3 here and then triggering the special to go here. Add. I forgot that adds a card as well. Complicated turn. I'll just get, so it's likely I'll want to play Professor X next turn. So now ready, Storm. Thwart this for 2. Switch to Thunderstorm to deal 2. Maria Hill attacks for 2 more. Okay, end of turn. I could discard this, make the call. I've already got Professor X in hand, who's the most likely one I'd want to play, so I'll discard it. Okay. Step 1, we get attacked, we'll play Maria Hill, or block with Maria Hill. So thinking about rapid response here, I think I will. So Maria Hill dies. Rapid response, put it back in play with 1 damage, draw a card, exhaust Hawkeye from Avalanche's ability. 2 encounter cards. Under Fire gives us 2 more. Okay, 1, but there's 1 more coming, so I need to find Pyro. I wasn't sure what would happen, if I'm supposed to deal this second card first, if that top card was Pyro. I don't know. So Hawkeye will deal 2 damage to Pyro. So 1 more card from the top because of Under Fire. That gets us Blob. Hawkeye. And then attach to a minion and give it Tough. So which minion should it be? So I'm gonna probably Blast of Wind this turn. Okay, I think it works out a little better on Pyro. Doing some math in my head. So Pyro has 9 total health, already 2 damage on. And Storm is attacking for 4, as long as I stay on Thunderstorm. Okay, so it can do 1, 2, 3 for Blast of Wind. Then play Professor X. Does that give me all the damage I need? Do 3, knock off Tough. The special does 2 more to kill Blob. I attack for 4, switch to something, ready, attack for 3. Looks like yes to me. So I'm not getting a ton of thinking what I switch to. Not Clear Skies if I want to confuse. But if I do Hurricane to remove 2 threat, then Professor X doesn't get to thwart anything. So is it worth spending that much just to confuse? I mean, it's still gotta be, because okay, both advances are gone. How many of Avalanche's specific card are gone? 1. So there's still one more Groundswell in the deck that would make Avalanche scheme at us again. Decent amount of cards in the deck. Could stay in hero form as well. That's an interesting possibility. That lets Professor X get value via a block as well. So the alternative is flipping to Clear Skies, drawing a card, then I could play a 2 and a 1. Or I could make the call. Right, I could make the call for a 2 and play a 1. Make the call for Kalu and then play another 2. I do like just getting Professor X out whenever we possibly can. Okay. One, two, three for Blast of Wind. So here's 3 to the villain. 3 to Blob. 3 to Pyro. Trigger Thunderstorm to deal 2 more damage to Blob. Attack Pyro for 4. Three health remaining. Flip to Hurricane, just because the other 2 options are actively bad for accomplishing our goals here. Play Professor X to confuse. Oh, and when I did the Hurricane thing, I ready and attack for 3 more. And you know what? Professor X has 1 attack, so we'll attack. So we're keeping the game clean. Could have developed stronger, but I think we're doing well, so I want to stay safe. Get an extra encounter card here as we empty the deck. As with many games, we'll have a slow start in terms of damage to the villain. We've only done 6 damage so far. But once we get sort of all of our upgrades out, and especially with Storm, some of our Thunderstorm turns can really do an absurd amount of damage. one threat here. Block with Professor X. Two more, or exhaust an ally. Do Maria's more primed for a block right now. Two more cards. Okay, the Brotherhood side scheme. Don't recall if we've seen that yet. So hopefully we don't draw one of those minions in these next two cards, as they will have quick strike. All right, Avalanche activates. So now we'll have Maria Hill block. If the villain is Toad, he gets additional boost. It is not. And Avalanche is in play. We exhaust our identity. All right, a solid turn. So here I'm looking to do Torrential Rain to clear the Brotherhood. A no-brainer there. Then we could do 3 for Mockingbird. And have a Weather Goddess left over to get some value somewhere. Still can't flip to Clear Skies. I can just flip to Thunderstorm and back. Or I could save a card. Is it worth saving, like Lightning Bolt, for example? Essentially, doing the Weather Goddess now gives me an extra thwart for 1, which is, I mean, I think it's worth a little more than saving a Lightning Bolt. No, I'm gonna save Lightning Bolt. So 1, 2 for Torrential Rain. Thwarts this for 5, which includes the special trigger to Ready Storm. Flip to Thunderstorm. Deal 2 damage to Avalanche. Attack for 4. Pay 3 for Mockingbird to stun Avalanche. Hang on to that Lightning Bolt. Flip down. And thwart for 1 with Mockingbird. We want to keep Avalanche in play at least as long as he's stunned and confused, just to get that value there. Okay, 1 threat here, confused, 2 cards. All right, discard till we hit a side scheme. That's kind of fortunate that we hit it right away. Don't have to waste too much of the deck. And then we get Pyro again. Kind of, there's lucky encounter turns and unlucky encounter turns in Heroic, but because we just see so many cards, it all kind of averages out. So we've had a couple turns in a row that would be great to play out some of our upgrades if we had drawn any of them, which unfortunately we haven't drawn too many. So we can get a nice ally into play here. Either Black Knight or whatever we search for with Protect the Students. So Blast of Wind, always a good thing to play when there's a minion out. I'm kind of thinking well, I want to use Hurricane Special plus activation to thwart Protect the Students. Or Hurricane still at full health. Flip. Attack. Avalanche for 4. So we're gonna go to the next one. I want to basically get Professor X out and confuse. And we're at the point where we can really start churning damage, so I'm fine wasting the stun as long as we can get Professor X's confuse on the right villain. So I'm doing the damage there. I flip to Hurricane to remove 2 threat here. Pay 1, 2, 3. Well, Black Knight's the least likely to be played or kept. 1, 2, 3 for Blast of Wind. So finishing off Avalanche, doing 3 to Pyro, and triggering the Hurricane Special again. And I guess I could have done this last time, but ready Storm. So search for Professor X, put to hand. And see who is next. Oh, and so when we do that, I know I deal. Don't I deal myself an encounter card? Yeah. Yeah, deal an encounter card, and then reveal the next villain. And you know what? Before I played the Blast of Wind, because I didn't think about the next villain being Pyro, I was going to put in 1 attack to Pyro first. So Pyro would have had 3 damage on him. Then the Blast of Wind is going to kill. Wait, how does the timing on Blast of Wind work? Do the villain first and each minion. That makes it sound like it happens at the same time. Okay, so say that I Hawkeye attacked Pyro first. So now if this new villain that comes out is Pyro, we don't have some, we don't get an extra activation. Okay, and the villain is Toad. Okay, so we wouldn't have had to worry about that anyways. Toad comes in at 16. So I'll just use both these Weather Goddesses this turn. Pay 3 for Professor X to confuse. Yep, attack for 1 to knock off the tough. Weather Goddess to Thunderstorm to deal 2. Attack for 4. Weather Goddess to, actually, first now we can save Mockingbird. Weather Goddess back to Hurricane. To deal with that. Okay, one thread here. We get attacked. Professor X will block. Toad makes us discard a random card from hand. So 1 to 5. 2. And then deal ourselves 2 more cards. Toad activates again. This time we'll do a Hawkeye block. Discard another card at random, 1 through 4. Before I revealed that, I would have reshuffled, but I'll just get Blob now. And then I'll wait to shuffle in case I need to search up someone else. 3 threat on for each Brotherhood of Mutants character, so it'll get 6. So I wanted to keep Mockingbird alive because Mockingbird is the best to bring back with rapid response. Actually, that's debatable because Hawkeye is really good for that as well. So here I can pay 2 for Torrential Rain, taking 5 off of here. 2 attacks can kill Blob, no problem. And then Kalu or Mockingbird can get the last thwart there. Because if I go 1-2 for Kalu, get a card, 1-2 for Torrential Rain. That is assuming I hit an event in my top 5. Let's try to do some maths here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 events are out of the deck. That seems like a lot. Don't know my exact count off the top of my head. There's 1 more Make the Call, no more Weather Goddess, 1 more Blast of Wind, 1 more Lightning Bolt, both Flash Freeze. Okay, that's kind of a lot. $18 total cards. So it's, how bad is it if I go for it and miss? Well, 1 turn of an acceleration icon isn't horrible. I think it is. Oh, do I have Mariah Hill here? Okay, I can just make the call Mariah Hill and draw a card guaranteed. So 1, 2 for make the call, Mariah Hill. Draw a card. 1, 2 for Torrential Rain to do 5 here. Yeah, it's a little awkward. There's no way for me to have attacked twice and never gotten retaliated. Oh wait, I keep forgetting I attack for 4. So I flip to Thunderstorm. Okay, there might have been a path to avoid 1 retaliate damage there, but I don't know. Attack Blob for 4. I get retaliated. I got plenty of health. Now I switch to Thunderstorm, dealing 2 more to Blob, and readying. So I would like to attack Toad again because we want Toad to definitely go away next turn. Pretty brutal ability, that forced response when he attacks. And then I want each of these to thwart to clean up these schemes. And then flip down. Okay, we finally got that X gene, one of our last big setup pieces. Rapid response, really good for Mockingbird in play. Looking all right. As long as we could get schemed out here 100%. We had to shuffle both advances back in. So we get 2 cards. All right. Discard 2 cards. A wild, so we have to exhaust a character, and a mental to discard a card from hand. Well, I'm not going to play both of these rapid responses. And we'll exhaust Mockingbird. Surge. And Blob comes back. Okay. So, a little awkward to overpay for the X gene, but there's no good alternative there. Pay 2 using the power of for rapid response. Flip up. Attack Blob for 4. Pay 1, 2, 3. To do Blast of Wind. So finishing Blob, doing 3 to Toad, and then thunderstorming Toad for 2 more. Ready Storm. Attack Toad to advance. Dealing ourselves a card. And there is Villain Blob coming in at 19. just tell myself that, right? Then flip to Hurricane to remove 2 threat here. Okay, things are looking good. Okay, flash freeze if we need an emergency villain shrink. Can do a lot of damage here next turn with the lightning bolt. Possibly win in 2 turns. 2 threat here. So we get attacked. Mockingbird block. Mockingbird dies. Rapid response to stun Blob when Mockingbird enters. Okay, another attack, but he's stunned. Blob is in place, so we are stunned. And we get Avalanche. So here is a case for flipping to Clear Skies to remove that stunned from us. Yeah, I think that is the play. We're not double check. Not desperate to, the reason not to do that is if we want to stun or confuse the villain here, which I could do in theory by finishing Call for Backup and getting like Professor X. I will I want to make sure I am exhausting Storm first so I can ready her with the cape. Oh, but I do kind of want to be in Thunderstorm for Lightning Bolt. Well, lots of interesting routes here involving the Call for Backup. So Call for Backup, you can clear it with Storm plus Mockingbird. I can get yeah, Professor X does make the most sense there. But I do so much damage with Thunderstorm in play. Okay, I'm going to attack to fail and remove the stun. Flip to Thunderstorm. Hit Avalanche for 2. Or actually, I'll hit the tough off of Blob. Cape to ready. 1, 2, 3 for Lightning Bolt, doing 8 to Blob, and 2 more to Avalanche. Yep, okay, pay 2. The most efficient is to just attack Avalanche here. Oh no, but I want to thwart. So pay 2 for Marrow to deal 2 to Avalanche. No, Mockingbird, okay, sorry. Marrow does 2 to Blob. Storm thwarts this. Mockingbird attacks Blob for 3, thanks to the double buffs. Marrow attacks Blob for... Or do we save Marrow for a minion? I think we push damage. Attack Blob for 4. And kept the call for backup in case we want to get like Professor X out here for some insurance. Not a very damage heavy hand we have here. So probably from here looking at 2 turns to win. You know what, I'm gonna read, need to read X23. So X23 could defeat this stage of Blob and still attack Pyro. Let's double check here how much health Pyro has. Pyro has 17 health and comes in tough. Okay, 2 threat on. Blob attacks. Go ahead and block with Maria Hill. Two more cards. You get Avalanche back. He gets Tough card and +5 health. And Sauron. So Sauron will attack us for what would be 4 damage. We take 2 automatically from the life drain and give him tough. So we've actually managed to draw some really beefy minions with not much damage in hand. So this is looking bad all of a sudden. Pretty bad. Going to have to probably keep Avalanche alive and hope we don't get schemed out. And then I want Mockingbird to block Sauron's actual. Well, the 4 damage attack, could Storm just take it here? I might need Mockingbird's damage to clear one of these up. I'm going to have Storm take it. So I can I'm definitely going to play Call for Backup. A little bit undetermined who to get. I could get Black Knight, is really nice to deal with those tough cards. Also, the aforementioned X-23 can attack twice, although it gets a little bit awkward with dealing with those tough cards first. Professor X, of course, can confuse and give us a better chance for surviving into another round. This is another turn where we probably don't end up going to Alter Ego, though. Sacrifice Mockingbird. Okay, yeah. Get out Rapid Response, sacrifice Mockingbird, Rapid Response her back in. That does some stuff. Do we... Do we damage count here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. Oh, baby. So is there a way to get a perfect increment of 5 damage onto Blob right now? Oh, well, why would I Rapid Response? Okay. These both attack for 4, this attacks for 3. I'm counting, if it wasn't clear, I'm counting just all damage into the villain. Okay, attack for 4, attack for 3 to advance to 17. We Torrential Rain. Or no, is this where we get, oh, but if we get X-23, it's probably, we probably got it all. Get X-23, attack for 5, ready. Attack to knock off Tough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, man. So, wait. Oh, but that didn't count a... Did that count a Rapid Response? So these two attack to get to 17 health Pyro. This doesn't give guard or anything. Oh, I was counting way too much damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. Or a Rapid Response. Ooh. Haha. Torrential Rain, X23 for 5. X23 for 5. Knock off the tough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Seven. Flip to Hurricane. Ready. X23 puts us to 11. Rapid responses in for the win. 1, 2, 3, 4, up to 15. Okay, one more time. Sorry, everyone, but this will be an epic finish if it's worked out like I think. We're playing Rapid Response. Torrential Rain gets X23, does 5 damage. We move on to Pyro, 17 health with a tough. Knock off the tough. X23 does 5 more damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or no, Mockingbird knocks off the tough. Then next stage, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Oh, it's not even close. What was I even counting? Okay. So pay 2 for Torrential Rain to beat Call for Backup. Get X23. X23 attacks for 5, which defeats Blob, so we ready her. Pyro comes in at 17. Pay 2 for Rapid Response. Mockingbird attacks, removing the tough. Marrow attacks for 4. Storm attacks for 4. Oh, I did see. Oh, no, we're fine. Flip to Hurricane, trigger the special, ready here. X23 attacks for 4. With Consequential plus Retaliate, she's dead. Rapid Response brings her back. And now we attack for 4 more. With Retaliate. And 3 more. So there's 7 damage. Giving us the win. Whew. All right, thanks for sticking with it. This was a longer one. Didn't hit Shadow of the Past, which is always lucky. Yeah, we just sort of kept it under control. Really pulled a ton of damage there out of nowhere thanks to X23. And over those last couple turns, chewed through those remaining villains after spending most of the game on the first one. All right, so yeah, wow, I still can't even believe that we had enough damage to win there. All right, so that is 4 for 4 now among the Mutant Genesis scenarios. So the last one is Magneto, easily the hardest one. We'll see if we can take him down on heroic difficulty.